There are reasons that each of us are born. Our quest to discover those reasons. There are two greatest days in our lives. The first, the day we are born. The second, the day we discover why. Sometimes a man, mature, attentive, never ending, reaches his destiny on the road he chooses not to walk upon. How far will a belief system go for complete dominion? Sawadee-Kop, greetings, and thank each and every one of you for joining me. This is my second series, my fourth show of my second series, and I have two guests here with me. They are Joanne Kavanaugh and Jeff. Today marks the beginning of a three-part series that is titled Public Health. Specifically, today's title is Warehouses of Knowledge. And where else could we find the most optimum place for the exchange of knowledge, for the quest for knowledge, for the search of knowledge, and a host of other things than the Washington branch of the Omaha Public Library System. So at this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Joanne Ferguson Kavanaugh, the head librarian. And Joanne, can you just give us a brief overview?
I sure can, Frank, and thank you so much for inviting the Charles B. Washington branch of the Omaha Public Library to be on your show.
Yes, you know it's my favorite branch.
Yeah.
It's the only branch in the Nebraska Public Library System that has a full collection of all my books. In fact, in any library which checks out one of my books, that feeder is Joanne's library.
And Frank, you've done some poetry readings at our branch, and we certainly appreciate your talent here in Omaha, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I'm fairly new to North Omaha. I started working at the Charles B. Washington Branch Library in December of 2009, I believe. And it's a fantastic location, you're right.
Oh,
we have so much going on, but I think North Omaha has always valued their library, and
Yes, they have.
I was looking at a little bit of the history, and it sounded like prior to 1921 there was a deposit station for the library in a notion store somewhere in North Omaha, maybe on Ames, and I don't know the location, but I'm assuming that people picked up their books there from the main library.
Yes, ma'am.
And the community wanted more than that. And so in 1921, the Omaha Public Library purchased a church on the corner of 25th and Ames. And that was the new home of the North Branch of the Omaha Public Library. And they were in that church until, I think the report said in about 1931, the library manager at that location said, we need something different, you know, the roof is leaking, we need something new. And so in 1938, a new North Branch was built. And it was built on the location where we are currently located, which is 2868 Ames Avenue. And that branch was there until, of course, they wanted something bigger and better to serve the community. And so in 1972, that old branch was replaced. Well, that was built, and then after this is when Charles B. Washington comes into it. It was known as the North Branch. In fact, still people refer to it as the North Branch.
Oh, okay.
A lot of
okay.
times they'll say the North Branch, so that is stuck. But in 1986, Charles B. Washington, who worked with the Omaha Star for 48 years,
Yes, ma'am.
he was a champion for lots of people and a mentor for a lot of the youth. He also did some coaching with the YMCA teams, and he took calls from many people during the week that needed help with finding a scholarship, getting into school, getting a job. So he was one of our civil rights champions that the community was very proud of. And when he died in 1986, Mayor Boyle went to his service and was asked to speak, and he said on the spot he decided that we needed to rename the North Branch to the Charles B. Washington Branch. And so he announced this to the congregation, and he said that there were a lot of people that were, very supportive, and it kind of created a outcry. And then he thought, oh my gosh, I'm only the mayor, I can't make that happen. So as soon as he could, he got a hold of Eileen Worth, who was the president of the Omaha Public Library Board at the time, and he said, Eileen, I need your help. I made this announcement that we're changing the name of the North Branch to Charles B. Washington. Can you help make it happen? And so she got the board to agree, and they worked on that, and the rededication was in September of 1986, and so we've been known as the Charles B. Washington Branch since that time.
Beautiful.
We have now been renovated in 2006. That building was renovated and added on to, and so that's the building that you presently see if you go by. And we have a beautiful sculpture garden outside that is based on Maya Angelou's cage bird.
Yes.
I know why the cage bird sings. And it was sculpted and designed by Jana Ramiker, who was here in town at that time. And one of the birds in the sculpture was modeled by another famous Omahan artist. Her name is Wanda Ewing. She's now deceased, but she is the model for one of those cage birds. It's on the side of the sculpture garden. In the renovation, we got a new teen spot that's dedicated. It was funded by private funders.
That's so novel and unique for libraries. They have their own little space.
Yes, they do. That's very well used. We have a computer lab. We also have meeting rooms and study rooms, which are very popular with the community. We have so many groups that use those rooms and come in to use the study rooms. We also have Charles B. Washington's collection. So we have some memorabilia. He was awarded a lot of awards, so we have plaques and awards for him. We have a photo collection, and many of those items were scanned for the Nebraska Memories Project, and they're available if anyone just does a search for Nebraska Memories Project and plug in Charles B. Washington. They'll come up with about 100 items, and there's a lot of people in those photos that are still unidentified. So if anybody happens to see someone they know, if you could get back with us and let us know who that person is, that would be great. We can add that information to the data. But in our east entry, we have a couple of display cases that feature right now some of Charles B. Washington's memorabilia, and they include a roast that was done for him at the Wesley House. And they sold these ceramic pigs as a fundraiser, and he signed them. And so Barbara Maroney gave us a pig for our collection. And Coach John Morris, who was with the Tech High, he was a coach there for many years, he gave us the program for the roast and also some tickets for the roast. And then we have pictures of the roast, so all of that is in one of the display cases. And of course, Charlie was also responsible for helping get a lot of recruits for Nebraska Cornhuskers, including Johnny Rogers, our Heisman Trophy winner. And so we do have an award that was given to him by the University of Nebraska, and some pictures of him at the university and with Johnny as he's receiving his Heisman Trophy. So he had a great impact on our community and still does. Now, that's just a little bit about the library, but Jeff, he is our adult services librarian, and he's going to talk a little bit about some resources that we have.
For sure. I think traditionally a lot of times people think of the library, of course they think of books right off the bat. And there's so many different types of books, whether it's books for entertainment or books for enlightenment and even, educational resources. And, for the longest time we would always have things like GED study books to help people with passing the GED course. But really, in the last 10, 15 years, there's been so much development in terms of technology that in addition to books, which we still have the store, of course, there's lots of electronic resources we have. So there's databases that the library subscribes to. And if you have a library card, which is free if you live in Omaha, you can get access to these databases. So if you need to study for the GED, of course you can check out GED book, which is great, but there's also databases we subscribe to, like Learning Express, which has study for all kinds of different exams, from ACT, SAT, ASVAB, different clerical exams, and of course GED too, study guides and practice tests you can take. So there's lots of different ways that information is blossoming and the library provides connection to. And of course when it comes to books, like these GED books, there's 12 Omaha Public Libraries, and it used to be at the Washington branch, you would come there and you just had those books there. But now we have books that float from any location in. And if they get checked in there, they stay there, and our items go out. So it's a big collection of items that are out there. So that's one of the things we might have with that.
Okay. Now, Joanne, could you possibly give us a brief outline of what you feel as though the role of Charles B. Washington Branch plays in the community?
Absolutely. So libraries don't exist in a vacuum. We're there for a purpose, and that purpose is to serve the communities that we're in. And we're all different. Our location serves a very different community than, say, the Millard branch out in West Omaha serves.
Right.
So we do everything with that in mind. All the 12 locations of the library keep that in mind when they're thinking about the community.
So you would say that they're individually catered,
yes,
program-wise and community-wise, to the community that they are a part of.
Absolutely. So one of the things I wanted to talk a bit about was our youth services, and we have an amazing youth service librarian. Her name's Amy Wenzel. She's not here today. But she does a wonderful preschool story time a couple of times a week. It's a family story time, and it includes a lot of music and movement, and the kids are very involved.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
And that is a program that is growing. And as you know, we don't have a lot of stay-at-home parents in our neighborhood. And so we do have a lot of visitation. So there's a lot of kids that are in foster care, and the libraries are a location that's open to the public. Anyone can come to. And so a lot of the people that show up for her story times are the kids and parents and the foster care providers. So anyway, it's just a really wonderful story time for the kids. We do that on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And then we do understand that babies need to be read to. It's part of their brain wiring that they have interaction and singing and music. And
That's right.
so yeah, so we have a program called Baby Reads program, and it's for babies who are birth to 1 year old. A parent can come in and they can apply for a Baby Reads card, and this is available to the baby, because we want the parents to be checking books out for the kid. If they check out the kids' books on the kids' card, then there's no fines associated if they come back late. The other great thing is that we do a waiver, so if the parent has lost books, has fines, their card is totally out of control, we will give a clean slate, wipe everything away.
How often would that be?
It's a one-time waiver.
Oh, just a one-time job?
One-time waiver.
Okay,
So they come in, we wipe them out. So their card is now in good standing. The child's card is in good standing. And we do give a free board book for the baby to have, so they have their own book.
Cool.
And then we have a great collection of board books that we encourage the parents to check out for the child to take home. And at that age, it's more of a play object, a toy, rather than a book. But believe me, they're listening and learning every minute, every second of the day. So it's very important to get those in the hands of those parents. A lot of them are young parents too. And then she just recently worked with the Charles Drew Health Center. They celebrated Infant Mortality Month.
Yes, ma'am.
And getting children to the age of 1 is a big accomplishment. And so they worked, she and a lot of the youth service providers worked with the Charles Drew Health Center to have a birthday party for families that had 1-year-olds.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was
Oh.
really great. And
Is that going to be like an annual?
I hope
or-
so. This was their first year of doing it.
Okay.
And Gail Ross is in charge of the Healthy Start at the
How
Charles
was the
Drew.
response?
I think they had a small group attend. It was about 40 people, but that was good,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
for first year.
Yeah. Okay.
And they held it at Goodwill. And then we also have Deb Paris, who works in the community, and also our children's librarian, because we don't have parents at home that can bring the kids, and most of them are in daycare situations. Amy goes out to the daycares on a regular basis to
Oh,
provide
wow.
story times there. And then we also have staff member Deb Paris, who works out of the learning community of North Omaha at 24th and Franklin. And she also goes out and works with the families in small daycare situations.
Oh,
So
good,
we're getting
good.
out there to where the children are and need to have, you know, this kind
And
of
you're hubbing it
modeling.
all out of Charles B. Washington.
That's right, we are. And
Beautiful.
then we also have a teen specialist. Her name is Sam, and she works with the kids who are 12 to 18. We do have that teen space for the kids, and they do use it well. And she
yes, they do.
recently started an anime, which is a Japanese animation
Yeah, yeah.
book club, and I think she had 10 teens that attended that, so that was very well received. And this month she's doing Halloween makeup hacks. So if kids want to learn how to do some Halloween makeup for Halloween, then she's having a program so they can learn how to do that. So that should be a lot of fun.
Is she then going to suggest them to the quarterly TV show that they have where they make up costumes and?
I don't know about that, but
A good idea.
That
well-
would be a good idea. That would be a good idea.
we'll suggest it to her.
Yes.
And we're also involved with Louder in the Bomb. They provide slam poetry for teens, and they come and do
Yes.
workshops, and then we have a big poetry slam for the teens
A
at
new
the
group
system-wide.
added into the world of literature.
And you would love that, getting those teens in there
Yes.
writing their thoughts down. And then, you know, we just work with a lot of community groups at our library, and one of them is the Empowerment Network, and Jeff attends their meetings on the regular. And they are providing a lot of training for the youth ages 14 to 21 with their Step Up program.
Yes.
And so the library has tried to hire a step-up person to help during the summer, and I think this next year, the mayor is trying to get $1 million in the budget so that they can hire even more
So you can have a permanent,
and get these kids started out on the right track with a job, learning job skills, and, you know, hopefully becoming a,
well, good old Omaha is
Yeah,
growing.
so it's great.
I mean, the beauty of it is that when the University of Nebraska decided to move from the Big 12 to the Big 10, that was an instant pay boondoggle for the for UNMC Medical Center, because their budget dramatically increased overnight. And every year thereafter, you notice this year they got some buildings going up.
right.
That's a
They've got
direct
good
result
funding.
of being membership with the Big 10, and that was the beauty of that move that the University of Nebraska made and whatnot. And just in that growth alone, there was a program that I was watching, and he said they projected 15 to 30% increase just on the medical side only. And the chief benefactor of this whole thing was former President, Mr. Barack Obama, who, with the Health Care initiative created or has created pockets within this country where healthcare is actually getting out to the people from the preventive medicine standpoint. And
That's
that is
key.
where you really want to get to
Yep.
the grassroots.
That's right.
And I think it's in like the Carolinas, there's several other states. And that's the reason why it is very difficult for what some politicians use Obamacare to be totally eradicated, because there are sections in this country where health care has increased to the profit side as well, bringing in more jobs and whatnot. And we have to acknowledge that it takes all of us.
Right.
It
I'll
takes
tell you, I can help tell you what the role the library plays with that too. Because you're talking about budgets increase.
Oh, yeah.
And, so the library does all kinds of stuff for children's and teens, but we also have to take care of our adult people.
Okay.
And so we have all kinds of things. Books, of course, some of the most important being some of these books right here by poet Frank O'Neill. We have The Awakening, this one here, Yala, right here, and of course, I Am a Man. These are all available at the Charles B. Washington Library. But for those of you that don't get a chance to get out and get into the library, there's all kinds of books. We got fiction books, nonfiction books, biographies, large print. There's magazines, books on CD that you can listen to, reference books, and all kinds of things. And like I said, the collections float through the system.
Downloadable.
But there's a lot of electronic resources.
Yes.
E-books that you can download onto your phone or device to listen to read e-books. Downloadable audiobooks that you can listen to downloadable audiobooks. We actually have a database called Freegal where you can download music
Oh,
for
cool.
free, and the legal way to download music. Some of the apps that are associated, there's the MyOPL app and the Libby app. The Libby app's for the e-books, some things you might need to download. All kinds of databases we have, from the World Herald Historical Archives. Lynda.com provides training on different software programs and different business tracks and other tracks where you can get certified with certain things all online. We have Reference USA, which is a great business database.
Okay.
A Chilton's database for car repair.
Oh,
You come
man.
in, look up year, make, model, find out what's going on with wiring and things like that. There's a tutor.com that helps students in real time, one-on-one on the computers, and it goes from first grade all the way up through college level assistance.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's some really amazing things we have. Now, if you don't get a chance to come into the library, here's some other things we have. We have computer access, public computer access to the internet with programs like Microsoft Word. We can print if you need to do printing. We have scanners for the computers. We have laptops that you can check out to use in the house, or you have laptops you can check out to take home if you're 19 and older. We have
How long can you check out a laptop for?
laptops
2 weeks,
check
I
out for 14 days. I think it's 2 weeks.
Wow.
So you can get connected all with a library card. We have copy machine and we have a fax machine. But you were talking about health. And that's one of the initiatives with the Omaha Library's Health and Wellness. And that, we have so much going on at Washington Branch in our meeting rooms. We have community groups that take advantage of our meeting rooms. There's groups like a quilting group that meets every Tuesday evening, Quilters We Are. And it's intergenerational from young ones to more seasoned people. And they work on quilting, teaching quilting, making quilts, all kinds of great things. Monday nights, there's Increase the Peace Chess Club. Jerome Helm runs a Increase the Peace Chess, and he teaches chess, and he sets it out, and they have a really good time there. But throughout the week, for health and wellness, we have all kinds of community-led programs. There's Zumba, Mixed Fit, hip-hop, line dancing. The Zumba meets on Saturdays and Mondays. Mixed Fit, I believe, is on
Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday, and always something going on. And you might be wondering, how much does it cost for the quilting or the chess or the thing? And it's all free. The programs at the library are all free. It's a community resource.
Yes.
And that's what we're providing for North Omaha, are some of these outlets. In addition to that, we also have health screenings and STD screenings provided by
beautiful.
Douglas County Health System.
That's
Free of
beautiful.
charge, that's Tuesday afternoons, in conjunction sometimes with the Charles Drew Health Center also. So there's some really great things for the community going on health-wise. We have some things that the library leads too with programming. We work with No More Empty Pots, and we do healthy cooking demonstrations, which I think is a good benefit to the community. We got all kinds of things with North Omaha Area Health, reading programs. There's all kinds of things going on. We like to work outside of the library too with different community organizations.
Working outside
And
of the
working
box.
outside of the box, doing as much as
Okay.
we can to listen and react to what the community needs.
Okay.
And we're trying to do our best. So.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Jeff. We have just a couple of minutes left. So Joanne, would you give us just a brief minute wrap-up with regard to the programs and,
Well,
and all the things that you have available, and maybe contact numbers where if people have any questions?
I know that we have just scratched the
Scratch-
surface
Yes, ma'am.
today, so this is just and this is just Washington branch. So we do have 12 locations at Omaha Public Library. We are just one of the branches, but all of these services can be had for free with your library card. So anyone in Douglas County can get an Omaha Public Library card. We encourage you to do that. Become a user. Let us help you find what you need.
Come in our doors and we are
limitless.
full service.
That's right. It's
Okay.
limitless what you can do with your library card and with your imagination.
Yes, yes, and that was the beauty of why I titled this Public Health, more specifically, Warehouses of Knowledge. And my parents introduced me to the library at a very young age, and it was just a beautiful experience. That was the original library that's right across from the courthouse. And that library has some history. Boy, let me tell you, that has some history. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking the time. I want to thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Jeff, for coming on and giving to the public at large all of the things that you can possibly attain and then some by visiting the Charles B. Washington Library. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Sawadee Ka, and thank you.